In 1991, Daisy Eagan made history as the youngest actress ever to win a Tony Award for creating the role of Mary Lennox in the Broadway musical The Secret Garden. She was only 11 years of age. Today, we meet with Daisy, who will talk to us more about the recent podcast network and the Grab Bag Collab. Pretty much back in 1991, you made history as the youngest actress to win a Tony Awards for creating the role of Mary Lennox in the Broadway musical The Secret Garden. What was it like to win a Tony at the age of 11?
You know, it was a wild experience. And obviously at the time that it was all happening, I didn't really have any, perspective, right? Like that's just the experience I was having. Obviously, my life before that was just sort of a very typical kid life up until about 2 years before I won, when I started working. And then life just became very, very different, obviously. But it was it was exciting, and it was wild. And now I have an 11-year-old son, and I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom it. You know what I mean?
Kind of try to compare or how it would feel, because it's like, so you were that age and now he's that age, and it's like a whole different shift, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I look at him and I'm like, I can't imagine him carrying that responsibility,
Wow. Well, congratulations. I mean, that is amazing. Looking back, what would you say are some of your best memories that you had on Broadway?
Well, I will say, what's interesting is my years on Broadway were very formative years. And I think the things that I learned from those experiences are sort of the most valuable, like making close connections with people and relying on people, and also knowing that other people are relying on you, and sort of taking that. In a lot of ways, it's just like community. It's teaching you sort of community, I think for The Secret Garden, it taught me a ton of discipline, and it really gave me a sort of lasting family of people that I still communicate with today and that are still important in my life.
Did all that. This was a great, learning experience for you. And now going back, we have something which you collaborated with, which is a Grab Bag Collab. So tell us a little bit about that and how it was created.
Yeah, I'm so incredibly proud of Grab Bag. I started my podcast, Strange and Unexplained, about 4 years ago. It's still going strong. We're still doing really well. And one of my colleagues, or another podcaster that I knew, came to me and said, "What if we started our own network?" And we kind of laughed about it. We were like, "Oh, haha, wouldn't that be funny?" And then sort of one day she came and said, "No, we're actually doing it." And we jumped in, and it's Amber Hunt and Amanda Rossman, who both, not for nothing, are Pulitzer Prize winning journalists. So we started Grab Bag. It's a Patreon only network. So it's sort of like Netflix or Max, where you have to pay a subscription fee and you get all of the content. And obviously, because it's Patreon, you get everything ad free. We have, let's see, we've got our core shows, which are my advice column, Dear Daisy, a podcast about secrets, Amber's true crime show, The Catalyst. And then we have my other podcast, which is a Love is Blind recap podcast called Shut the F Up, Nick Lachey, which is just so goofy and ridiculous and so much fun. And then we run quarterly shows. And right now we're running a show called The In Between podcast, which is a re-examination of the Pam Smart trial from the 90s. And just sort of looking at it from a new lens, and sort of looking at how maybe, Pam Smart might have been treated a little differently by the media and by the justice system, simply for the fact that she was a woman, and just looking at how that might have affected the verdict.
A lot. So then there's a lot going on, and anyone can subscribe at any time.
Yeah, you can. Just like any other Patreon channel, you can subscribe monthly. You can buy the year in advance, and you get access to all that. One of the great things I think about Grab Bag is that we're a profit share company. So everything is very transparent, out in the open. Everybody knows sort of what's going on at all times. Plus, our content creators get to keep ownership of their shows.
What would you say is probably your favorite part about this, podcast network?
To be honest, I think the community that we're creating around these shows, both on Patreon and on social media, is incredibly special.
Okay, so this network is podcast network, probably another one of your greatest hits that you've done probably in your life. So where can people go and subscribe and get more information, sign up?
Well, they can find us at patreon.com/Grab Bag Collab. We also have grabbagcollab.com if you just want information. And we're on social media, Grab Bag Collab. I'm at Daisy Eagan. Dear Daisy has an Instagram, so many Instagrams, but you can find all the information there.
Well, thank you, Daisy, so much for joining us here today and for sharing that with us and your greatest journey of life that you've had so far.
Thanks so much. I'm really grateful to be here.